Sound coming. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Inner Space Wembley, and a very warm welcome to the people who was looking online. Today's topic. Anyone? What's today's topic? Very interesting topic today. Yeah, uncovering blind spots is very interesting topic, and for that we have a sister Urvashi with us. She is practitioner and teacher of meditation over 30 years, and based in London in our Global Corporation House headquarters. And she is working in administration coordinating team and working on various projects. And she believes her key to success is teamwork. So please welcome Sister Urvashi.
Om Shanti. Greetings for this evening's talk. It's a very interesting topic, uncovering our blind spots. And when I was reflecting on this topic, it actually brought me back to my childhood. One thing which I realized growing up was I had a good childhood. Great parents that loved myself and my brother quite a lot, all the time. Whatever we needed, they were always there. My parents were always there. Good education and everything. And everything was fine. But I remember when I was probably very little, I heard something. And it was something which stayed with me until now. I'm 50 years old, and I was 5, 6 years old when I heard something. And so this thing which I heard, overheard, and when you're a child and you overhear something, it carries with you on your journey. And this one thing which I overheard was actually something which was not very good. And it was between my parents, and I started to, as a child and as a teenager also, that actually stayed with me. And I started to, when I look back now, I was behaving in a certain way with people, in a different way. I was either not trusting, and whoever came in front of me, there was always a doubt in my mind. And when I look back, it's to do with that one incident that I overheard when I was a child. And so when we look at this topic, blind spot, 2 words, blind. Blind means I can't see. And the other word, spot, blind spot. Spot is something that's tiny. It's not a big thing, but it's a tiny thing. And it's a tiny thing that is actually very deep. And it actually has more of an impact than you realize. And so today, looking at this topic, blind spot, one definition of a blind spot is like when you drive a car. And you've heard that when you drive a car, there's always a blind spot. And so you're driving ahead of you, and you are watching where you're going and things, looking in the mirrors. But they always say it's the blind spot. And if you don't look out for these blind spots, what's going to happen? That's when accidents happen. And so in life, we have experiences, we have our own journeys, and so blind spots are things where we are not really sure what it is. And many times there's a denial as well. We deny that, that's not about me. And so today I want to look at these two things about denial and also assumption related to blind spot. As I shared with you, being a child, this assumption, I assumed. And when you're a child, you don't know anything. You don't sort of, it's something that stays with you and you can't comprehend. It's just something that I know I heard. And so, as a grown-up, when I'm a grown-up now, what do? When I overhear something that is not very comfortable to me, I'm doing the same thing when I was a 5-year-old. I'm carrying that one statement that somebody has made or something I've heard or seen throughout everything that I do. And so assumptions is actually like a big thorn. When you have a thorn, it pricks very deeply. And a thorn is something that actually hits you, it touches you, it goes deep within you, and you think it's gone, but actually it hasn't gone. Blind spots, we think you can rub away. I can rub something away and it's gone. But no, blind spots are things which, unless I know how to erase it, only then it can go. And many times I don't know how to erase things. I don't know what to do. All I know is this is one thing which happened in my life, and I begin to then believe it. And I believe it's actually very real. So, a 5-year-old child who overheard something, now 40s, 50s, 60s. So how did I deal with this? What I did was, I took the courage to actually talk to my mother. My father's passed away, but I took the courage to talk because, as I said, I was a young age, and then, through years you let it go. It doesn't really affect you, but something has still in you. And so I remember when I said to my mum, can we have a chat? She doesn't live with me, she lives in the north. So I remember going one Christmas a few years ago, and I said, can we have a chat? And then I said, look, when I was very young, this is what I overheard, and this is what, that stayed with me. And then my mother, she clarified what happened, and actually she went even further than that incident or that situation. And it was a different story altogether. It's like what I grew up with in all those years, and actually she was fine. She was absolutely okay. And I was listening to her, I was just mesmerized that, hang on, I've assumed. And I think we go through life where we think we know. We think we've understood something, but actually we haven't understood. And until we take that courage to actually talk it out and just having that courage to face, it's a different story altogether. And so blind spots are assumptions which only when I actually speak, only when I actually communicate, I realize it was not a blind spot, it's something that's gone. And just like that, there was nothing there. And so many of us, we do this. Our childhood has a deep impact on us in a good way, and also may not be so good, but it's carried forward. And so my second example I want to share is about someone who gets angry. I have a friend who, for many years, again, it's like an anger that she doesn't know what to do. She instantly, amazing personality, amazing everything, very intelligent, but in 1 second, it's like this rage comes, or, and you can't see. So when there is something that actually is not positive, when there's anger, when there's jealousy, when there's hurt, it becomes like a veil, and we don't want to think that it's me which has an issue. It's me which I need to look at myself. And what we tend to do is we always then try to look at others as well and say, no, it's actually good, I'm fine, but it's you. It's not me. It's hang on a second, you look at you. Don't look at me. But the blind spot is there is hurt. There is a deep, deep hurt within the self. And until I spend time to look at myself, that blind spot doesn't go away. It keeps on coming back as a root, as a thorn. It keeps on coming back. And so how does it feel? It doesn't feel good. We don't like these spots. We don't like these things that causes pain. We don't like things that disturbs me very quickly. We don't like things when someone says something to me and I'm assuming or I'm being negative. So assumptions, but there's also expectations. Expectations. So again, when there's anger in me, when I'm getting angry, I'm actually getting angry with myself. I'm actually, the one that's getting bothered is myself. And so like I say to her that, is there a way that you can look at yourself? Is there a way that you can see what's going on inside of you? And because there's not that strength to look at the self, you then put it to one side. How many bags do we have where we put things to one side? We may have, whether it's a scene when I was young, whether it's at work, we have many bags. And these bags are situations that we don't want to really talk about. Is that true? We don't want to talk about things. We don't want to say, okay, it's fine, and then we put it to one corner. And so when we put things to one corner, when we put things in these bags, this bags then starts to become cluttered. One bag, one incident, I got angry with this one. Another thing, okay, it's fine, it's happened. Today was not a good day for me. Let me put it away. It doesn't matter. This has happened. So just like in our homes, when you just put, and maybe your house is amazingly tidy, which is great, but what also tend to happen is, and maybe it happens to you, it's like you just put just one thing to one corner, and then you say, okay, I'll deal with this. And then a few days later, you put something next to it. and then something else a few days later. And then before you realize it, you're getting lazy, thinking it's okay, I'll deal with this. I'll deal with this in a few days' time. I'll deal with this when I have a moment. And so when we put things to one side, physically, we say to ourselves, okay, I'm going to deal with this, and I will deal with this in these few weeks. But when it comes to our mind and the things we block off in our mind, the things that we put to one side, then it's very, very different. And what happens is that I then, again, within my mind, it's like a filing cabinet where one thing goes in, and then, okay, I leave it to one side, then another thing, and then another thing. And so then it becomes a habit. The moment I just say to myself, I'm going to put this to one side, rather than dealing with it straight away, it becomes a habit, and we tend to create habits very quickly because it becomes comfortable. It becomes easy to put things to one side. And so when I put things to just one side all the time, physically we know what happens, but then internally in my mind, what happens? When I put so much stuff in my mind, this situation, this incident at work, this happens, then the mind then becomes very clouded. And we know what it's like when you have a cloudy day. You don't like cloudy days. Is that true? You don't like cloudy days. You want days where it's clear. And so the mind is also like that. The mind becomes very cloudy. And so then when it comes to making a choice about something, do you think you'll be able to make the choice clearly? No. Something will say this in your mind, okay, let's do it like this. Something will say that, something will do that. And so then we become confused in our minds. So just as a child carrying things, just as anger creates sorrow, we also clutter too much in our minds. We allow things to go in. And the way we allow things to go in is what we're seeing and what we're hearing. Instantly, without knowing, it's gone in. It's like an imprint. I've allowed it to go into, it's an imprint. And so the more we allow things to go within and as an imprint, it then sticks. And so the more things stick, the more difficult it becomes to erase things. So what do we do? How do I feel? I don't feel good in these situations. I don't feel comfortable. I'm confused. I don't know what to do. One of the things when I first came to the center, to the Brahma Kumari Center, about 27 years ago, and one of our spiritual teachers, Daddy Janki, who I was doing the service in Global Corporation House, and I remember that when anything would, there's something if I needed to communicate with her, one thing that she would always say to me, I would relate things, this happened, Daddy, that happened. And she would say, never delay things. She goes, anything that happens, just come and tell me straight away. Don't delay it. Don't sort of try and solve things yourself and then come and tell me. And so she would say, okay, what you do is, anything that's happened, just communicate straight away. And then when I started to do that, after a few times, when I started to communicate straight away, I realized what happened. It's that the situation which was bothering me, the moment I communicated it, it's like it was off me, The energy was changed, because they say the moment you are able to express yourself, to share what you want to share, write what you want to do, it's like it's off you. It's away from you. And so the more things are like away from you, so that things come to you, but no, it's gone that way. It's come to you, it's gone that way. And the more we do that, then the less actually goes within the self. And the more we try to allow things not to go within the self, but to just go like this. And actually, if through experience, things which come to you, somebody is not very comfortable with you, you then don't allow it even to come here. From there, you let it go like that. And this is called experience. This word experience. Experience really means the things that we go through in our lives, and I've learned from it. I've understood what's happened. So Daddy would always say, before anything happens, see it coming. Just like now, if there was, a wild cat which comes into the room, like a tiger or whatever, you're not going to just sit here allowing that to come right to you and whatever. What are you going to do? You're going to move fast. You're going to get out of here because you've seen it coming. And so why do we not become clever enough in ourselves to see that thing which is going to disturb me, that thing that's going to bother me, not allow it to come anywhere close to me. It's like it's there, I'm out this way. I'm not going to even give it any energy. Does that make sense? That if you don't allow even your thoughts to go anywhere near, it's not gonna clutter in your mind. And then the more and more we do this, the more and more we get the habit of things are coming. I know what it is because I've seen it come before. I then face it in a different way. So one is I avoid it for that. But when I become more stronger inside, the more I become confident within myself and I'm in my self-respect, the moment something comes, I'm able to sort of, okay, how are you? Are you okay? You deal with it in a different way. There's that fear not there. The self-respect, that low self-respect is not there, but I'm able to then face a situation. And the more I'm able to face a situation, how am I going to feel? I'm going to feel good about myself. I'm going to feel that what I've done is actually something that's been helpful for myself. And so me as a 5-year-old child and carrying things, you had to go through it. I can't change the past. We can't change what happens to us, or even something that happened at university or whatever, because we all have our things that are there, but I can't change it. But what can I do now? Just like with my mum, I faced it, it's gone. Anything that has come to you right now, and it's here, this person, this situation, this thing when I was a child, if you line it up in front of you right now, and just face each thing which are your blind spots, The moment I feel I'm ready enough to look at things in a way that I've not looked before, it's going to be a very different story. And you are then the person who you want to be. You want to be a person that you are happy with and you're content with yourself. And it's such a good feeling when you wake up in the morning and you're feeling good. It's a simple word, feeling good. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling okay. And that does come. That moment does come. And it comes in a way that it's not momentary. Temporary things come and it feels good, and then I'm back to normal. But when I've actually feel I've dealt with these blind spots which have been bothering me or which has been within the self, then what happens is internally there's a happiness that is more constant. And when people see you, they see a difference in you. They see that there's, you're more happier, you're more lighter, you're more at peace with yourself. And it's because these baggages which are within the self that I haven't dealt with, I've found ways to deal with. One of the biggest blind spots is not knowing who I am. Not knowing who I belong to, and not knowing what I have to do. The biggest blind spot is identify myself that it's just this body and that's it. But when I unravel the greatest puzzle of knowing who I am, and that I am this being of light which is separate from the body, the soul which is separate from the body, the focus then doesn't go on the body, which we say body conscious. The focus then goes on the self, the real me. And when the focus goes on I, the soul, and when we sit in meditation, and when I focus on I, the soul, our minds become quieter, our minds become calmer. And so let's just for a few minutes just do that, just right now. And let's just sort of feel things, and then we'll continue. So let me just sit very much at ease. Let me feel the atmosphere in this room. Am I able to see with my inner eyes my blind spots, the things that hurt me, things that upset me, the things that I don't like about myself? when my mind is quiet, when my thoughts are focused, I am able to see the things I never saw before. Can I see things that I haven't seen before? Thank you. So, what I do many times is when there are things that I know I need to resolve and things that I need to work on myself, I sit in meditation, and it doesn't happen straight away. You know, it's not something that, okay, I sit and then that's it, I'm going to get my answer. No, it's what happens is when I quieten the thoughts down and I'm focused. I'm not allowing my mind to wander here and there. And whether I focus on the point of light, you feel a different energy about you. You feel a different thing. And then by keep on doing this sort of meditation, things become unraveled. And just like when you see programs on TV, murder mysteries or this and that, things which needs to be unraveled, it starts off by something that it's like, okay, this is what I think it is. And it's only when you start to explore it a little bit more do you then begin to get to what the situation is. And to do that, it is about giving that time to the self and focusing on the self. But the easiest way, and I was reflecting on this today, was, what's helped me the most in my life, and it has been God. And we don't always like to talk too much about God and things, but I was really saying, no, what does your life experience has boiled down to? And it's been the experience with God. We have relationships with our parents, our loved ones. And when there's a relationship with God and we sort of begin to talk to God, and then the question arises, how do you talk to God? How do you do that? And again, it's when I sort of become real in myself, and sort of, it's not like I'm bringing God down to my level, but or begging, but no, when you have a conversation with someone, then when I'm sharing things with God that, okay, this is something that I'm going through, and I'm not sure how to deal with it, but I'm sure you'll be able to help me sort this out. And so when you talk to God in this way, what's happening is there's a different energy that's supporting you. When you talk to your friends or when you talk to somebody, that level is a very different level. When you talk to God, that's a different ballgame altogether. But we again have doubt on whether I'm actually talking to God or I'm talking to myself. Am I talking to myself or am I talking to God? But actually, again, when the thoughts are quiet and genuine feeling that, this is something I want to share with you, you are able to talk to God and talk to Him in a way that you feel the support and you are able to find your blind spots. Because to really be happy with yourself and everybody else around you happy as well. And we use this word blessings. Am I able to gain blessings from everyone? Or is there one or two people in my life that I'm not able to resolve? It's like we use this word, do I have a karmic account with them? Is there something? But sometimes we have just one or two individuals in our lives that, again, it's a blind spot. It's like it's there, but I'm not sure how to deal with it. And so many times when I communicate with God and I talk to Him in meditation and just feeling this being of light, this energy, and I make my mind up that I want to bring about this change in me. When I make my mind up, I want to finish this situation, and I then communicate that, saying, this is what I want to communicate, this is what I want to communicate, this is what I want to finish. You see how different patterns in the life change. And I've seen it practically for myself, that's why I can say it, where something really I had to resolve and I didn't know how to, because it was something which was for years and years. But I made my mind up and I communicated with God to say, this is something I want to do. This is something that I'm ready for. I'm ready to change or shift something in myself. And because I was ready to do that, because I was ready to face whatever was going to come in front, I saw that His support was there. He was there. And so having that awareness that the biggest blind spot is I have forgotten and I do not know myself. And the second biggest is I don't know who God is, the one who actually can help in every single situation of my life. And it's only when I give it a try in knowing who I am, knowing who God is, then I begin to understand what is it I have to do. And it's like you, during the day, like yesterday, I was having a conversation with someone, and I was trying to work out how can I figure the situation out. The moment I woke up, it's like, I knew what to do. And that happens a lot, where something's happened, but then instantly I know what to do. And so again, it's that relationship with yourself and relationship with God that I begin to identify what I need to do, and it doesn't take time. It doesn't take long to do it. So blind spots, assumptions, expectations, the things that I can't see, the things which are hidden away, and I put it to one side in a bag, and it clutters my mind. I know how it makes me feel, but then what can I do? Know myself more, get to know the one who can help you more and who can help to understand your jigsaw. Each one of us has our own jigsaws, and we have our own jigsaws, and just watch how each piece then becomes, you're able to put this jigsaw piece. This was like this is like that, this is like this. And so then the jigsaw becomes more complete. Because the life is like a jigsaw, it is a puzzle. And until I sort of make that conscious effort, I want to finish my jigsaw. And you know what it's like when you don't finish something, it bugs you. So just see my jigsaw for my own self. Where do I, this. I know I still need to finish this. I know when I see this person, how am I going to be with that? Do you know what I mean? So jigsaw, then you will find that the jigsaw is more complete, and you are then much more happier and alive. What's it like when I'm absolutely alive, absolutely okay with myself? And it doesn't happen just like that. It happens through saying to the self, I want to do this. I made my mind up, I want to do this. And then it's not just you, but it's also God that's with you, who's with you all the time. And that's a beautiful feeling to know that we have someone, I'm not alone. I'm not alone. I have someone who I can make whatever I want them to be. My friend, my companion, my partner. And at the same time, find ways where things work out okay. So we'll stop here, and hope that's been helpful. And if there's any questions.
There's one question from our online viewers. You were sharing about self-respect. So could you share some easy tips how to increase our self-respect?
Okay. So self-respect, when I'm not in self-respect, I'm here. When I'm in my self-respect, I'm here. A simple tip is, again, having one or two positive things that touch me. So, for example, I am caring. I am loving. I'm I want to give blessings to others. And so when we have these few words which actually mean something to myself, and I remind myself, I am caring, I am, and when we're saying this, I am, it's I, the soul, it's not the consciousness of the body and I'm helping others and they should be grateful and all this and that. That's body conscious. But no, when I say, the soul is caring, the soul wants to care for someone, then instantly you see that the self-respect goes up. I'm saying something good about myself. I'm very good at saying things which are not good about myself, but when I say good things about myself, it's to feel good about it, you know. And so there's one word which I from a young age, and I remind myself that Urvashi, you have goodness in you, and every now and again it comes up. I remember that word. So remember the word from a young age to now. That one word which touches you, which is like a gift for you, you know. And so for me, goodness, goodness in myself, seeing goodness in others, that's my word, and that lifts the self-respect. It brings that confidence in the self. It reminds you again, this is how I want to be. Anything else?
The other question is, you spoke about courage in the beginning of the talk, that you gathered the courage to speak up and let go of the assumptions which you thought was the truth. So how does one gather courage? And how would you define courage?
Okay. So in that situation, which was to do with somebody who I knew, which was, again, this was my mother, in order to have courage, you also need to have that humility, the humbleness to sort of, and compassion as well, to want to say something to someone that you don't know what they're going to say back. You don't know how they're going to take it. You don't know if they're going to sort of lash back at you or whatever. But again, when I'm in my self-respect and there's humility. So with courage, there needs to be humility. The humility to first think, I want to change this, or I want to know about this, then it works. More? Okay.
The question is that there's a blind spot I had, and due to that blind spot, I have made a mistake. It wasn't visible before because it was a blind spot. I didn't realize it was a mistake. But then when it became visible, and it feels heavy, that how could I do that? You know? And that brings a lot of guilt and regret. And over the time, that guilt builds up and makes us feel sad or heavy and other emotions. So how do you let go of guilt? Or how do you deal with that guilt or shame? In any case?
Okay. I think we've all experienced that. I think we all know what guilt feels like. The way that the way that I've dealt with guilt and also shame, or I wish I had realized this about myself or realized a business. So one is that we keep on going over the same thing, you know, and we sort of repeat it in our minds. So again, like when I was at 5-year-old, and now it stayed with me. But we're not young children anymore, you know, and things move on. People grow up. But guilt and shame is something that, again, with humility, I did make a mistake. And again, if I'm in my self-respect, I acknowledge to myself, or if you need to acknowledge it to somebody else, acknowledge it, but then put a full stop. Don't keep on repeating about it to the self. and when I sort of know that, okay, this has happened, and if I keep on repeating it, it then manifests into something else. And then it's another situation then I have to deal with. So guilt then turns into something else. But if I know I've made a mistake, I know this is what I've done, acknowledge it, number one. And say, okay, I've done this. I will make sure I do not do this again. Because things move on. We actually think things don't move on, but actually people sometimes don't even care, and I think they're caring in terms of that situation. They've probably moved on, but my guilt is keep on holding me back. So if I sort of say, okay, I acknowledge this, I put a full stop, and then just be normal, then you find you can move on, and everybody else can move on as well. So don't carry the guilt. That's the thing. So should we have some meditation? Okay.
One of the viewers said, because you said about communicating,
Yeah.
and you mentioned the higher source also, so they're asking, how do you communicate, or how would God communicate with me? And maybe you can explain and then lead us to meditation as well.
Just like now, if I need to talk to you, what am I doing? I'm just opening my mouth. Yes? In that same way, it's as easy as, like now, I'm thinking about something. It's as easy as that to talk to God through your thoughts. Through my thought, I'm verbalizing now, but it's as so simple, but we complicate things ourselves. Just like I'm talking to you, just like I'm thinking things in my mind, I can just say, okay, we use the word here in the Brahma Kumaris, Baba. And Baba is a very beautiful word, Baba. And so even with the point of light, it's like, Baba, how are you today? Can you imagine saying to God, how are you today? But no, be as real and authentic. Saying, Baba, today my day has been like this, and I hope everyone listening liked what I shared. I don't know. And did you like what I shared? Da, da, da. So communication is as simple as that. Just like now, you had to WhatsApp someone. What are you doing? You're picking up your phone. Hi, how are you? That's it. So the less we complicate things, and God is not complicated, we become complicated. And it's just as picking up a phone, I just start to think about Him in His truest form, which is just this absolute infinite light. So let's just have some meditation now. And I can share with you my conversation with God, with Baba. So today, Baba, it's been a long day, and I had many things that I had to do, and many things that I needed to do. But there's one thing that wasn't too okay. And so I'm sure I'll find out, or I'll understand how do I solve this. But Lord, I wanted to do was just share with you, this is what happened. Tomorrow I know is another day. But you, even though you're so far away in the world of light, I find it amazing how I can reach you just like that. I can be anywhere, and all I need to do is just sit quietly somewhere and just think of you. The pure light, your pure absolute light. You are light, and I am light. I am light, and you are always, always, always light, and you're always there for me. You always care so much. You're the only one that knows me, understands me, and actually listens to everything that I say. I know it's not my imagination, but really, you are there in your highest, purest form. Absolutely there all the time. I know I have a lot to work on myself, and I know many things I still need to do, but I know you're there, and I know I'll get there with you. I know you don't need thank yous. You don't need any gifts and cards. And I think what you really want is for me to constantly share with you, communicate. You're the purifier. Just by connecting with you, I can erase many things. This is all I have to do. Just I, the soul, you, this incredible soul, in this world of light. And then nothing else exists. So now I better go and continue with all my other things. This is as simple, it's so simple to talk to God. Thank you. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Sister Urvashi, for the wonderful talk, and all of you. Thank you for joining. Next week, same time, same place, and the topic is self-love, selfless. Valentine's coming, so we got a very nice topic. So once again, thank you very much for coming, and have a safe journey back home. Thank you.
Thank you. Om Shanti.